That's how I introduce myself. I'm the rabbi of BYU. That was a good talk. He is a big deal. BYU this past week, they had Rabbi Meir Soloveitchik speak. In case you don't, I came home and told my wife about it. I was like, I heard Meir Soloveitchik speak, and she works in hospitality, and so she was like, "Oh, who's that?" I was like, "He's like one of the most famous rabbis," and I was like, I mean, he grew up where everybody expected him to be because his last name is Soloveitchik. She was like, I don't get it. I was like, imagine being somebody who's starting off in a hotel whose last name is Hilton or Marriott. She's like, oh, it's like that. I'm like, it's like that. This is a very prominent, probably the most prominent rabbinical family in the country. Yeah. They're the ones who founded the modern Orthodox movement, and they are a multi-generation dynasty. Hello, welcome. Hello. Yes, very, very influential family. All right, it's 6:31. We'll get started, and more people join us. Great. I'm anticipating a little more of an intimate crowd since this coming week we have some big days that a lot of folks are going to be here as we welcome in a new year, which means that this is the last Shabbat of 5784. It's been a challenging, tricky year, but a year that I think we've had to grow and be strong and grow as a community. So let's start off. I wanted to give our cantor the night off tonight to be able to rest his voice in anticipation of the holidays. And so let's start off with singing Hine Matov, page, looks like 100. It's on 188, but that's not what page we're going to start on. We're in the blue book, by the way. Page 128. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yahad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yahad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yahad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, hine matov. Yalala, yalala, hine matov, hine matov. Yalala, yalala, hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. We'll turn to page 142 and sing together in Shalom Aleichem, wishing peace upon all of us today, and also that we enter this Shabbat with peace, and that tomorrow evening we will leave Shabbat as well with peace. Page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malahei Hashare, Malahei Elyon. Mi melech malahei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu. Boachem l'shalom malahei hashalom malahei elyon. Mi melech malahei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu. Barhuni l'shalom, malahei hashalom, malahei elyon. Mi melech malahei hamelachim hakadosh baruch hu. Zaytem l'shalom, malahei hashalom, malahei elyon. Mi melech Malei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We'll turn back to page 138, and let's sing together with Lechado D, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Lechado D likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmi anu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado D likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lehuven elcha, Ki hi mekor habracha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machashavati la. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado D likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, Kiva ore kumi ori, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alaich nigla. Lechado D likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado D likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. I'll invite you to rise and we'll the entrance as we greet Shabbat. Bohi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam besimcha u'etzohola, Tochem bnei am sigula, Bohi chala. Lechado D likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lechado D likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. Well, actually, instead of being seated, let's take a moment and greet each other, wish each other a Shabbat Shalom. Introduce yourself to somebody. Come on. Hey, Sophie. Good to see you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Hey, good to see you. Shabbat Shalom. How have you been? Good to see you, my friend. Shabbat Shalom. So tell me your names. Derek. Emily, welcome. We're so happy you're here. Welcome. Oh, anytime. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Fine? Yeah, it's always a party. On Friday nights, yeah. And certain smaller services like Sukkot or things like that, yeah. Saturday mornings are in the other room. Yeah. Yeah. Good to see you. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. You're here solo tonight.
Yep, she is back east for her baby shower.
Oh, exciting. Remind me when she's due?
January 19th. When's yours?
February 17th. So, all right, Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you. Maya fe hayom, Shabbat shalom. Maya fe hayom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Well, for the last time for our year, we like to light the candles to bring some light into Shabbat. I always pick on someone, you can always say no, but to light our candles. And Lisa, would you like to?
Does anyone get the Shrek reference?
No, I didn't.
Can I?
You may. So, absolutely. So, Lisa Kaufman, who is our membership and office director, who has been working so hard welcoming people into our community, including, I see back there Lexi, and I'm guessing you're Matthew, right? Or else she brought somebody else tonight. Lexi and Matthew, who, as of today, are the newest members of our Colamy family, and we are...
Take somebody else's spot.
Yeah, no. And so... There you go. It said that on their form, don't trust with fire. So, Lisa, if you would, thank you for all your hard work in helping us get ready for the holidays and welcoming so many wonderful, amazing new people to our community. If you would do us the honors, please.
Thank you very much.
It might go out because it's a long, long wick.
Look at, see, this is why I don't usually do this part.
It's okay. That's what happens every single week because we have very long wicks. I keep meaning to tell Maria, trim the wicks.
I'm gonna start trimming this. Get it going here.
Thank you. Let's join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Man, thank you, Lisa, for all you do, and thank you for being so eager to come and do a mitzvah. That's exactly what we're supposed to do. Shabbat shalom. Now she's going to leave us, right? Page 144, Hatzi Kaddish. Yidkada v'yikada shemei rabba. Ve'almadi vrachir tevim lich malchute v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael bahagala uvismahan kahariv v'miru amen Yehi shmei rabba mevorach le'alam omei omaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitramam v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudusha brehu le'elam mikol birchata v'shirata tushbehata v'nehemata damiram be'alma v'meru amen. We're going to turn to page 146 for our call to worship the Baruch Hu. I'll invite you to rise in body or in spirit. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevo. Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Leolam Vaed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. And as we are approaching Rosh Hashanah, the word Shana, it means year, but also, guess what? It has the same root as the word Lishnot, which means to change in Hebrew, because a new year represents change. So as we go into a year and a year of change, a year of new possibilities, let's read together as we welcome in the evening. And right now, I love this time of year because as we are doing the blessing over evening, evening is actually befalling us at that moment. So, page 149 at the bottom. Let's read together. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 150. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avta Torah u'mitzvot Hukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbenu uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha uvmitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negei yomam v'layla Ve'ahavta al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Ohev amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Hashem kivod malchuto le'olam va'ed. Page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha Ehayu harvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayam al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha Ulech becha avaderech, uvshoch beha uvkumeha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beinenecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvihisharecha, leman tizkeruhu, va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, Vitem kiddushim leloehem, Ani Adonai Eloehem, Asher hotzeiti ethem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem lelohim, Ani Adonai Elohehem, Adonai Elohehem, Emet. The story of the Exodus from Egypt is a very theologically tricky story, I think, sometimes, because we read constantly about how Moses says to God, Moses says to Pharaoh, in God's name, let my people go. And Pharaoh says, no. And then Moses does this again and again and again. And towards the end, though, whenever Pharaoh agrees, it says in the Torah, well, God hardened his heart. And so in that case, are the plagues on Egypt really fair? Some might say no. But what rabbinic commentators talk about is how God was punishing Pharaoh for the earlier times he said no, and said, look, you've made your bed, now you have to sleep in it. But when the Israelites came to the edge of the sea, we see that God did not force them to do anything. They said, should we go forward? Should we go back? And they stood there, and as Jews do, they argued with each other. And they said, do we go forward? Do we go back? Do we go forward? Do we go back? Well, forward, we don't know what awaits us. Back, we know what does. We know it's terrible, but maybe up ahead is worse. But once the sea split, they all had to make the choice to go forward. Like in Islam, they learned that the Prophet Muhammad was lifted and carried to Jerusalem by God. But for our people, we learned that we had to walk there on our own 2 feet, that we had to cross over, and we had to choose to go forward. And so, whatever, especially as we enter this new year, let us think about what choices we need to make in terms of moving forward in our life as the world moves forward too. We are on page 158 as we sing the song of our freedom and redemption, the Mi Hamocha. Mi Hamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Hamocha nehedar b'kodesh, Norah tehilot osef eleh, Norah tehilot osef eleh. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bokeh yam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Ze'elianu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. We'll turn to page 160 for the Hashkivenu, asking God to watch over us as we go to bed, hopefully in peace, and wake up tomorrow in peace as well. And I want us in particular tonight to think about those in the northern city of Sfat in Israel and everybody in the north who might be having a challenging night and has had a challenging week and difficult days ahead, certainly. So we'll do the first 2 verses and then jump to the indentation. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim. Ushmor Tzeitenu Uvoheinu L'chaim U'shalom Me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim. Page 162 at the top. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. We'll rise in body or in spirit for the Amidah, page 164. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yad gitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Hastei Avot V'Imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem Leman Shemo Be'ava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Vezrat Sarah. 168. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayeh Kol atah Rav Le'oshia Morid Hatah Mechalkel Chaim Behesed Mechayeh Kol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Ve'Rofeh Holim Umatir Asurim Umekahayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Milchamocha Baal Gevurot Umidom Elach Melech Memi Umechahayeh Umatzmiya Yeshua V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol. 170. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yihallelu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. At this time, we will continue silently, page 172 to 180, or you can use this as an opportunity for your own prayers and reflections, and when you're finished, you may be seated. Ose shalom bimromav. Uyase shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru. Ve'imru. Amen. Yase shalom. Yase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom. Yase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. We've been offering that prayer for peace every service since October 7th, and we'll continue to do so until this October 7th, and have also been offering a prayer for the state of Israel since October 7th, and will continue to do so until this coming October 7th to mark a year of standing with Israel in a very difficult circumstance. And so we turn to page 377 for a prayer for the state of Israel. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and your truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. And let us say, Amen. And we will turn back a few pages to page 371 and turn our thoughts to those who are in need of healing and of the mind, body, and spirit with our prayer for healing, the Mishaberach. And this week, we think of these members of our community and their loved ones who could use a prayer for healing. Gitalea bat Mashahana, Harav Yehuda Leib ben Dina, Myron Yisrael ben Rachel, Daniel Meir ben Chaya Etya, Baruch ben Sarah, Itkafeka bat Gittel, Gila Chaya bat Mordechai Leib v'Gila Leah, Tova Hava bat Chaya Rachel, Tzvi ben Benjamin, Rachel Liba bat Moshe Menachem Mendel v'Gittel, Sarah Bell, Lois Dobrin, David Dowsett, Angela Eno, Martin Goffin, Fran Lappin, Tanner Light, Megan Magleby, David Roseman, Penny Spector, Adina Stern, Sam Winkler, Michael Winston, and Judy Wolf. And if you have a name to add, when I look in your direction, you are welcome to share with our community. Ben.
Irish Schwartz and Jody Mohan. Teresa Hart.
Yep.
Mark Parker.
And if you are watching on our live stream, I'll invite you to share a name as well. Again, our prayer for healing Mishaberach is on 371. Mishaberach avotenu mekor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habraha lavotenu. Those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. I once got a very unique privilege, which was that I got to meet the great Nobel Peace Prize winner and Holocaust survivor Elie Wiesel. And I had the opportunity to ask Professor Wiesel one question. And so I thought very hard about what my question should be. Now, Elie Wiesel went through Auschwitz, and the average person who was not immediately sent to their death, survived in Auschwitz on average for 3 weeks. And yet Wiesel, unbelievably, survived in Auschwitz for about a year before he was liberated. And I asked him, he lost his father there and saw so much evil. What role does God play in evil, in the evil that you experienced? And his answer to me was, I don't think about the question you asked me. And I prefer not to think about the question you asked me. Because if God played no role in this evil, then it doesn't matter. And if God did play a role in this evil, how on earth could I love God? And this has been a big question. And when I talked to other Holocaust survivors, what many of them told me was that the conclusion that they arrived at was that God was not responsible for this evil. Because when we look, biblically speaking, at why evil occurs, well, perhaps when God is involved, at least, we see sometimes it's because people have strayed morally. That's what we see in Sodom and Gomorrah and with the flood of Noah. But when we think about it, 80% of rabbis and Torah scholars and yeshiva students in Eastern Europe were killed during the Holocaust. And over 1 million children were. How could God participate in that? It doesn't make sense for us to have a good God and for God to have a role in that. Or often people say, well, bad things happen because there's a greater good that comes out of it. But again, when we see not just 6 million Jewish people, but over 1 million children who were killed, and sometimes in horrific, painful ways, how can we say that there's a greater good that comes from that? We can't. And so, what so many people concluded, the Holocaust changed Jewish theology so greatly because we said people did those acts, not God. Which then leads to the question of free will. Do we have free will? And if we do, does that diminish the power of God? Well, what we read in Isaiah is God says, I created day and light, but also darkness and night. And I created good, and also I created evil. I created the potential for that to exist in the world. And ultimately, if we did not have free will, then what would be the purpose of any of the laws of the Torah? Because we wouldn't have a say in whether to follow them or not follow them. We would be just robots on command. I mean, if I were to walk up to a police officer and punch a police officer in the face, I would most likely get my butt kicked and then also be arrested and thrown into prison for assaulting an officer. And if we did not have free will, I should not in any trouble or go to jail. My whole defense should be, this isn't my fault. God made me do it. But that's not the way our justice system works, because we know at the end of the day, I had a choice, and that was the choice I made. And what we read in the Torah this week speaks so much to the Jew definitively that in Judaism, we teach that people have free will, and that free will exists. Because as Moses is preparing to die, he is imparting onto the people of Israel his final teachings, his final words. And he says, he pleads basically to them. You have two choices in front of you, good or evil. And you also basically have two destinies based off of those choices, blessing or curse. Now, we know that bad things happen to good people. So if we choose good, then how do we justify that sometimes you have curses when you're also doing well and doing good? In Judaism, the most important thing for us is that we are remembered as blessings. And so there exists people who sadly have very shortened lives. But in those shortened lives, were kind, compassionate, made our world a more beautiful and holy place, loved others, and were deeply loved in return. And so even though it might appear they have curse, their memory is a blessing. And on the flip side, there are people out there who are horrible people. And it seems like things tend to go well for them. But how are they remembered? And perhaps that's what Moses is warning us, is not just dealing with the consequences in this lifetime, but dealing with how we are remembered. What are the long-term effects? And also, if we are behaving poorly, then we are creating a world that is cursed for all of us. If the people of Israel were behaving poorly and choosing evil, well, it was going to curse all the people of Israel. That's what basically we learn at Yom Kippur, is when we stand up there and we go do all of our vidui, our confessions, and go, Hashem knew, but God knew. We're basically up there being like, I lied, I murdered, I stole. And you might be thinking, I didn't murder anyone. I hope nobody here murdered anyone. I didn't steal anything. But then we get to the ones that each of us committed. I gossiped. Oh, I did that one. And what we learn through our Yom Kippur liturgy is that because of the things that each of us, the poor choices each of us made, we collectively prevented our people in the world from being better. And now I bring this up today, not just because it's an important message as we enter the holidays, but I've been following very closely all week what's been happening in the Middle East. Not on my pager, I got rid of that. But I've been following very closely in the Middle East. And with what you might have heard some news today about a man named Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah. In case you don't know who Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah is since 1992, he has been the head of Hezbollah. And this organization, prior to 9/11, killed more Americans than any other terrorist organization and has been responsible for the deaths of hundreds and hundreds of Jewish people and glorifying those deaths, including children. And has said their whole commitment is to the destruction of Israel. And Hassan Nasrallah even said once, I hope that all Jews in the world go to Israel, because if they do, it'll be easier for us to kill them if they're all in one place. Well, Hassan Nasrallah once in an interview said that his militia, Hezbollah, was going to be successful in defeating the Jews. Why? Because he said the Jews love life more than anything and will do anything to preserve life. We love death. We're not scared of death. They can kill us and it does not deter our will. And that's why we will defeat the Jews. And when the Israelis heard about this, they responded and said, you're right and you're wrong. You're right. We do love life. But you're wrong. Our love of life is what is going to make us survive. We choose life. And again, in the Torah this weekend, Moses says to the people, You have a choice between blessing and curse, good and evil. And then he says a choice between life or death. And then he commands us, choose life. Choose life. And what did we see happen today in Beirut? In case you didn't see the news, a massive attack by the Israelis that they believe killed Hassan Nasrallah. And on one hand, if that is what is confirmed, part of me is relieved and says, thank God, a man who was committed to our destruction is no more. And part of me is sad. Part of me is sad when somebody like Hassan Nasrallah or another Hezbollah member or Hamas member is killed. Or when somebody is executed. I saw yesterday, the state of Alabama executed a man who had murdered 3 people. Part of me is sad. Not that that person is gone, but sad about the choices they made. Hassan Nasrallah is 62 years old. For the last 30 years, half of his life, he has lived underground in a bunker. In the last 20 years, I think he's made 4 public appearances. How is that a life? How is that a life at all? This man, had he not chosen evil, had he chosen good, had he not chosen curse, had he chosen blessing, and had he not chosen death for others, and it seems today for himself, but instead chosen life and the pursuit of life, then he could be a 62-year-old man living somewhere in Lebanon with his children, one of whom has already been killed by Israel years ago, and after he was following in his father's footsteps as a militia, as a terrorist, and with his grandchildren. He chose wrong. And so what we can take from this week's Torah portion is that all of us must choose carefully. And when given a choice, let's all of us choose life. Shabbat Shalom. Should give a shout out. I see Danny Berman, our executive director here. Thanks, Danny, for all the great work you do, especially this time of year. And thanks to the Salt Lake Police Department for being here to keep us safe. Some announcements. I gave Cantor Davis the night off because I wanted him to save his voice for this week because he's going to have a lot of singing over the next 2 weeks to do. And we really hope that you'll join us for the high holidays. Rosh Hashanah begins on Wednesday night, October 2nd. Tickets have been mailed to all of our members. So if you have not gotten tickets, you can purchase guest tickets by this Monday, September 30th, and they'll be at will call for you. So purchase them by this Monday, or if you are interested, like some of you have even today, of supporting our community through becoming a member of Kolami, we would be so grateful. Come talk to me. Let's see what we can do. Make this synagogue your Jewish home. And also, the last day to order your lulav and etrog for Sukkot is this Tuesday, October 1st. Please make sure to RSVP online for the community Rosh Hashanah luncheons and the Break the Fast at Kolami. There's various communal luncheons, including like 20s and 30s lunch, in different age groups, and we try and put people with groups we think they'll connect with. And we do need volunteers to help us bake, usher, and greet people at check-in. Contact Galit Livnei if you're able to help. Slichot, actually, people think the holidays start on Wednesday night. They actually start tomorrow night with a holiday called Slichot, which to me is actually my favorite Jewish service of the year. It's a beautiful service. So please join us at 8 o'clock in the main sanctuary as we watch and discuss the film Beyond October 7th, which shows an intimate account of members of one family who survived the October 7th massacre as they confront trauma and grief. Our Slichot service will follow a discussion which will follow the film. The Kolami Mikveh has been beautifully remodeled into an inviting spiritual space. And on Sunday morning at 9 a.m., I'll be giving a tour of the mikveh and also teaching about the history, meaning, and when opportunities are to use the mikveh. You can also contact Lexi in our office to reserve a date to use the mikveh before the holidays. On Sunday afternoon at 12:30, everyone's invited to join me on a hike in celebration of the month of Elul. Hear the shofar blast. Let's do some reflecting and as we prepare spiritually for the holidays. You can see our website for details and to RSVP. Other upcoming dates to mark on your calendars. So very important, on Monday, October 7th at 5:30 on the south steps of the Capitol, we will be having a commemoration of the entire Jewish community, all the organizations coming together to remember the one-year anniversary of October 7th. We also need volunteers to help build our sukkah on Sunday, October 6th at 9 a.m. on the patio. And Sukkot begins on the evening of October 18th. Check out our website. We have a ton of events happening, like our annual young adults sake and sushi in the sukkah, as well as a lunch and learn, Rosh Chodesh women's group events, songs in the sukkah with Cantor Davis, Tot Shabbat in the sukkah, and also our new member and member appreciation Shabbat service in the sukkah with dinner beginning at 6:30 p.m. on October 18th, one of our best Friday nights easily of the year. And finally, our Jewish Heritage Tour with me will be headed to Poland, Slovakia, and Budapest, Hungary in May of 2025. And the trip is filling up way faster than I expected. Only 8 spots remain, so please sign up today. And feel free to talk to me or check out the itinerary on our website. And thanks for being here. We are going to move into the concluding part of our service with the Aleinu on the bottom of page 586. I'll invite you to rise in body or in spirit. Aleinu shabeach ladon hakol latekidu laliotzer breshit shelo asanu kigoye haratzot velo samanu kemishpechot adama shelo sam chelkenu kahem v'gohor aleinu kecho hamonam v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim livnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ ומושב עיקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינת זו בגובהי מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו ככתוב בתורתו ידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. This time we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, and those who've died at this season in years past, and those whom we've drawn into our hearts with our own as we remember them. If you hear the name of a loved one, you're invited to rise upon hearing their name. In the 30-day period of mourning, the period of Shloshim, we remember Sam Podolsky, a local Jewish person laid to rest in our cemetery, as well as Harry John Williams, father of Luann Davidson, Eric Van Doyen, father of Bethany Steinberg, Carol Tashjian, mother of Liz Tashjian, and Sophie Weiss, daughter of Anna and Joshua Weiss. And also we think of all those who in the past 30 days lost their lives in Israel as a result of either terror or in defense of the State of Israel. And this week we commemorate the following Yortzeit's anniversary of passing of these loved ones. Robert Anson, Shirley Appleman, Harvey Arkin, Ben Arnovitz, Harriet Marjorie Berry, Philip Barak, Annie Callett, Ida Cohen, Helen Dinwoody, Minnie Ellen Bogan, Arthur Frank, Marvin Gallinson, Ida Gerlich, Irving Izzy Gordon, Sylvia Gordon, Robert Gordon, Samuel Green, Marilyn Kantrowitz, Louis Kaufman, Rose Kaufman, Nathan Langer, Lillian Langer, Clarice Levine, Joey Levy, Lawrence Litwin, Philip Medwick, Sharon Mann Moranis, Leonard Pollock, Francis Reen, Bernard Rose, Morris Rosen, Bernard Barney Rosenblum, Harry Rosenthal, Helen Sandak, Lucille Schwartz, Sylvia Siegel, Shaya Shapashnikov, Joe Scheffner, Cecilia Coney Siegel, Ralph Tannenbaum, Fred Tannenbaum, Faye Sonnenreich Trudeau, Raymond Wilson, and Richard Zabrowski. If you have a name to add, while I look in your direction, you can share with our community. If you're watching on our live stream, you can share as well. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. If you're in mourning or it's your tradition to do so, you're invited to rise. We are on page 598. Yit Gadav, Yikadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach hirte v'yimlich malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dehol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'emru amen. Yeh Shmei Rabbah mevarach, Am Omei Omaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, Yitdar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei dekudashah brehu, le'ela mi. Amen. Ose shalom b'mro, say shalom inuvel. Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who are mourning comfort the bereaved among us. Again, we say, Amen. And as we have been since October 7th, and will continue until this October 7th, we are going to conclude with the singing of Hatikva, Israel's national anthem, representing hope. And hopefully this new year will be a better one for the Jewish people and for the world. And so I'll invite you, if you wish to do so, to rise. Page 678 at the bottom. Kol oba levav penima nefesh Yehudi homia olfate mizrach kadima Ayin letzion Sophia Od lo avda tikvatenu hatikva bat shnot alpayim liotam chofshi be'artzenu eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim Liotam chofshi be'artzenu eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim. We'll remain standing for Kiddush. Here we go. Erev evoke yom hashishi va'or hashamayim va'aretz v'osavam v'yoim b'yom hashvi melakto asher asa v'yishpot b'yom hashvi mikol melakto asher asa v'yivarech Elohim yom hashvi v'kadesh oto ki vo shavat mikol melakto asher bara Elohim lasot savri Chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kisham mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'avav ratzonini lanu, zikon l'maseh v'reshit, ki hu yom tehila l'mikraei kodesh, zeher l'tziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'harta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, inhaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Chaim. And we will take out this challah made by my buddy Moshe, which looks delicious. Let's join together, and you're welcome to take some after. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lehem min haaretz. Amen. B'te'avon, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And I hope I see you, if not tomorrow or this weekend, at Rosh Hashanah. Shana Tova.